tell us a bit about the phone in particular and what you know of it?
What I know of it was it started with the tapes. He started to work with tapes, and all I know was that he had a friend who worked at the university with whom he worked on this thing of, it started off with the idea that we all hear different things, and that even though we assume that we know that dogs can hear things that we can't, and that they can hear higher pitched things. And what they know from tests is that human beings also have differing ranges of hearing. We kind of assume we can all hear the same range if we've got good hearing, but that isn't the case apparently. Some people can hear a much higher note and others can hear a lower one, and so there are sounds around all the time that we may be not hearing because we've not got that extensive thing, or we may be hearing more than somebody else is hearing. So that was the kind of basis that he started from. And then he started recording at, I was already telling you that, you know, he got taken into the spiritualists by my mum, and he started recording the spiritualist services where the medium was saying what was coming through and so on. And then he would bring it home, because one of the things that he recognised was that it wasn't just about frequency being higher or lower, it was about speed as well. The speed at which we hear things can make a difference. Well, of course, we know this from, like, if you speed a record up or slow it down, you're going to get a completely different, aren't you? A different sound, a different tone, different height, as it were. And so that was how it started, with him taking these tapes home. And
from the spiritualist
meetings, and listening to them as they were afterwards, and waiting in the silences in case anything happened there. And then if he got any sound of anything, speeding it up, slowing it down, taking it through different speakers. And this was another thing that he had a thing about, was speakers. He made some speakers once that had 3 things in them. You see, I wish I could explain better, but I wasn't interested, to be honest, in the technicalities of things, of what he was doing. But the idea being that different parts of the speaker translated different elements of the sound. And so he would put them through another tape machine and listen to them again and speed them up and then play them through these speakers, and sometimes he would come up with stuff and he would rush off to his friend who was in the languages department, and they'd listen to it over and over, and they would make out words and things like that, you know, and he got very excited about this because he thought that what he was hearing was a clamour of voices trying to speak to the medium, and maybe not getting through, and maybe the odd one getting through but others not, and the medium being a sort of inadequate vehicle, but the voices being there. Now, one of the things was that he also believed that these are not just voices of people who are dead, but they're voices of people who are crying out, whether in thought or in prayer or in some way or other, wanting to communicate. So say, like he would say to me, like, say my mum is in the audience at the Spiritualists and my aunt Gladys is over in Yorkshire thinking, oh, I really want to talk to Lily about X, Y, you know, that her thought matrix thing can come across in this jostle of noise that surrounds the medium. So the medium can go to my mum and say, oh, I've got someone coming through, thinking it's someone who's dead. But actually it could be somebody who simply wants to get through, you know. And so he wasn't totally, at that stage, he wasn't totally preoccupied with it being the voices of people who died.